Choosing the wrong hotel in Punta Cana can ruin a vacation that costs thousands of dollars. And in 2026, the gap between a mediocre resort and an exceptional one at this destination is wider than ever. There are properties still coasting on a reputation from 10 years ago, and others that are redefining what a luxury all-inclusive resort in the Caribbean actually means. In this video, I'm taking you through the top 12 all-inclusive resorts in Punta Cana, so you arrive at the airport with your decision already made. No filters. I'll tell you where each one falls short, because that's what you actually need before you book. Let's start from number 12. Top 12. Club Med Punta Cana. No other resort on this list includes as many activities in the base rate, and that's exactly what earns its spot in this ranking. Over 30 experiences at no extra cost. Kayaking, paddleboarding, snorkeling, archery lessons, all available from day one with no prior reservation required and no surprise charges at the end of the week. The water park was completely renovated in 2025 and features over 25 attractions, making it the best equipped in this tier of the ranking. The Bávaro beach at this property is wide, with fine sand and calm water, well protected from currents. The entertainment staff works in continuous shifts. There's something organized every hour of the day, from trapeze classes for adults to water activities for the little ones. On the dining side, the resort delivers without standing out, which has been the most consistent criticism in reviews over the past 2 years. There are no idle moments at this resort unless you go looking for them, and for a certain type of traveler, that's exactly what they need to enjoy a complete, fully structured vacation. If your family is looking for activities from sunup to sundown with no surprise charges at checkout, this is the right starting point. The next one is adults only, and it has something you won't find at most resorts on this list: catamaran excursions included in the rate at no extra charge. Top 11. Royalton Chic Punta Cana. Part of Marriott's autograph collection, this resort has its own personality from the moment you arrive at check-in. It's located in Uvero, Alto, a quieter and less crowded stretch of beach than the Bávaro corridor. About a 40-minute drive from the airport, but with a completely different atmosphere. Fewer people, more space, and sand that, at the best moments of the day, takes on an almost golden tone under the Caribbean light. 6 restaurants, a casino, non-motorized water sports included in the base rate, and themed pool parties that set the pace for every afternoon. But there's one detail many guests don't expect. The nighttime pool parties feature audio and lighting production that several guests compare to an upscale beach club, well above what its position in the ranking might suggest, starting at $162 a night. What to know before booking? Some areas of the complex show visible wear, and dining doesn't always match the resort's premium profile. If you're looking for a lively atmosphere, a less crowded beach, and the real perk of a catamaran included in the rate, this is the entry point for the premium tier in this ranking. From here, the level of design takes a noticeable step up, one you'll feel the moment you walk into the lobby. Top 10. Grand Palladium Palace Resort, Spa and Casino. The scale shifts from the very first step. Quality materials, generous proportions, high ceilings, and architecture that goes beyond functional, creating an immediate visual difference from everything we've seen before. The lobby has an openness that makes many guests stop before even reaching check-in. 11 a la carte restaurants under one roof means a completely different dinner every night of the week without repeating, from Mediterranean cuisine to Asian specialties, each space with its own distinct visual identity. A casino with live tables, a nightclub, and well-structured evening entertainment give the resort a real energy long after sunset. Shared access across properties within the same hotel group expands beach and dining options even further at no additional cost. The consistent weak point in 2026 reviews: service can become inconsistent during peak season, something worth considering if you're traveling in July, spring break, or December. For guests looking for genuine dining variety within an all-inclusive, this resort has very few rivals at this point in the ranking. Top 9. Majestic Elegance Punta Cana. There's no single spectacular element that stands above the rest, but there's nothing that noticeably disappoints either. And in the hospitality industry, maintaining that balance year after year is much harder than it looks from the outside. The 9 pools are distributed so you never feel like you're competing for space. And the stretch of Bávaro Beach at this property is one of the best preserved along the corridor. Fine sand, natural shade, and calm waters that stay gentle almost year-round. 9 restaurants, a casino, a nightclub, a spa, and evening entertainment complete a package that, on paper, may look similar to the previous resort, but in practice shows a difference you feel in the details. And here, guests often discover that the resort's real value isn't tied to any single feature, but to the fact that when you leave, you can't recall a single moment when something went wrong. There's currently an active offer of up to 60% off for stays between May and December when booked before May 31st, 2026, on the official website. If your dates are flexible, this is the exact moment to act. Subscribe and turn on all notifications to bring more travel like this into your life. Same area, more complete facilities, and a beach with a distinction that most resorts in the world will never come close to earning. Top 8. Barceló Bávaro Palace. National Geographic named it among the 10 best beaches in the world. That's not a tagline the resort invented. It's a verified distinction, and you feel it in the near-white quartz sand, in the water that on clear days has a turquoise tone that looks almost unreal, and the stretch of coastline so well preserved that most guests spend the entire day without ever leaving the shoreline. Inside the complex, 2 water parks, 11 restaurants, a theater with in-house production shows, a bowling alley, a casino, and a chapel right inside the resort that surprises most guests when they first arrive. Something many guests end up acknowledging is that they arrived planning to explore the property and ended up spending almost all of their time in the water because the beach makes everything else feel secondary. The most frequent criticism targets the dining. Some restaurants exceed expectations, others don't justify the wait. Starting at $140 a night during low season, the combination of an internationally recognized beach and facilities at this scale has very few competitors anywhere in Punta Cana. We've reached a name that many travelers search directly before even looking at other options. Top 7. Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Punta Cana. A resort so large that guests get around in golf carts between areas, and where practically everything operates on an outsized scale. The largest casino in the Dominican Republic with over 500 slot machines and live tables, an 18-hole golf course designed by Jack Nicklaus, Topgolf, a bowling alley, the Rock Spa with full-day treatments, and 9 international restaurants spread across the property. The rooms are spacious, with amenities that set a standard above the typical all-inclusive, and the drive from the airport takes less than 20 minutes. Original pieces from musicians around the world are displayed throughout every corner of the resort. Signed guitars, stage outfits, one-of-a-kind instruments, turning a routine walk between your room and the pool into something very few resorts in the world can offer. There are packages with flights included that add up to 55% off directly on the official website. The weak point is the scale itself. With nearly 2,000 rooms, personal attention can get lost in the volume, and during peak season, the feeling of overcrowding is a real factor to keep in mind. What comes next looks nothing like anything we've seen so far. We're not talking about more pools or more activities. We're talking about a level of service that very few resorts in all of Latin America can actually deliver. Top 6. Hyatt Bávaro by Iberostar. Adults only. 7 restaurants, one of them set inside a full-scale sailboat docked right within the property, a design detail no other resort on this list can claim, and one that becomes the most photographed spot on the entire grounds. The lobby has a quietness and attention to detail that sets it apart from the very first moment, a perceptible difference from any other resort along the Bávaro corridor. There's one area where many guests say the resort truly stands out: butler service, available 24 hours for guests in select suites that personalizes the room's aromatherapy before your arrival, adjusts the pillow selection to your preferences, stocks the minibar with exactly what you requested, and if you come back from the beach and ask for it, has the bath drawn and ready the moment you walk through the door. Those who've experienced it say it's the closest they've come to a luxury boutique hotel experience within an all-inclusive format. August and September are the most affordable months of the year here, starting at $264 a night according to Momondo. If your dates are flexible, that's the window to access this level. Now we leave Bávaro and head to Cap Cana, where the experience changes completely from the moment you pass through the entrance gate.
Top 5. Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa. Private development with controlled access, and you feel it from the moment you arrive, in the quiet at the entrance, in the overall caliber of the surroundings, and the immediate difference from everything you left behind in the Bávaro corridor. The beach at Cap Cana is one of the most recognized in the Caribbean, protected by a natural coral reef, seaweed-free, near white sand, and water clarity that many guests describe as the clearest they've seen anywhere in the region. Adults only. 9 restaurants with menus that go beyond the standard buffet. 2 large format pools with ocean views. Kayaking, paddleboarding, windsurfing, and catamaran sailing, all included in the rate at no extra charge. The score on Booking surpasses 9 out of 10, with over 250 verified reviews. Guests who arrive looking for genuine peace and quiet and a beach that doesn't need filters in the photos find exactly that. Kayak listed from $123 a night during low season, the most accessible entry point to the Cap Cana level on this list. One thing to keep in mind, during peak season, noise levels may not match what many guests expect from a resort at this profile. If this video is inspiring you to travel, hit like and share it with that one person who's also dreaming of a vacation like this. The next one is the best family resort on this entire list, and it's not a subjective impression. It's what international rankings and guests who return to the same destination year after year consistently confirm. Top 4. Hyatt Ziva Cap Cana. 7 water slides, a lazy river that winds through part of the property and that kids simply don't want to leave, and restaurants with real variety, not just a buffet rebranded with different names. The kids' entertainment team runs structured programming throughout the day, supervised activities with a constantly rotating schedule, which means parents get genuine downtime without having to improvise anything. The beach at Cap Cana with that turquoise that makes photos look edited is one of the property's strongest assets, and one of the most frequently mentioned by families when comparing options at this destination. The spa, themed restaurants, and private cabanas with included service complete a package that very few families find covered at this level in a single resort. For many, the biggest surprise of the stay is finding out that the kids are the ones asking to extend the trip, something that doesn't happen nearly as often at resorts of this scale. Base rates start at $509 a night, with discounts available through June 2026. Same beach, same complex, completely different experience. Top 3. Hyatt Zilara Cap Cana. It's been the benchmark for adults-only resorts in the Dominican Republic for years, and in 2026, it's still very hard to displace. 6 restaurants, each with its own distinct identity: French cuisine with a contemporary approach, Indian specialties, Polynesian-inspired dishes, and a grill featuring cuts that several guests describe as the best steak they've had anywhere in the Caribbean. The Larimar Spa has a reputation of its own within the industry. Treatments that guests book before they even arrive at the resort, not something you fall back on when you run out of plans. A fitness center spanning over 14,000 square feet with natural light and Caribbean views completes a package that has very few rivals at this destination.
What really keeps this resort at the top for so long isn't any single feature, it's the consistency. The level of service guests describe today is the same one they described 3 years ago, and maintaining that in the hospitality industry is far harder than it looks from the outside. For couples looking for genuinely personalized attention and the Cap Cana beach without compromise, this is the standard against which every other resort on this list is measured. Number 2 just arrived in Punta Cana, literally, and it's already changing the conversation about what an all-inclusive resort in the Caribbean can be.
Top 2. W Punta Cana, adult all-inclusive. It opened in August 2025 as the first all-inclusive resort from the W brand anywhere in the world, an experiment the entire hospitality industry was watching to see whether a design and luxury brand could actually work within the mass market format of the all-inclusive. The standard rooms start over 750 square feet with a standalone bathtub and a king bed, and some come with a private plunge pool accessible directly from the terrace. 12 bars and restaurants including Nikkei cuisine, contemporary Italian pasta, and a speakeasy-style bar that's already become one of the most photographed spaces in the complex. This is not a resort for guests looking for pool entertainment and an oversized buffet. It's for those who want real design, boutique hotel energy, and a Caribbean beach all in one package. The most candid reviews note that service is still fine-tuning details typical of a recent opening, but the energy, the design, and the overall concept already justify second place with room to spare. In a destination where most resorts look alike, this is the only one nobody can replicate yet. Before we get to number 1, a quick resource. Direct links for every resort on this list with updated pricing are in the video description. It takes less than a minute to open, and it could make all the difference when you're ready to book. And we've arrived at number 1, the resort that Caribbean Journal names the best in Punta Cana for 2026. And after reviewing it in detail, it's hard to argue with that call. Top 1. Lopesan Costa Bávaro Resort, Spa, and Casino. It's not the most luxurious resort on this list, nor the most exclusive. It's something harder to pull off, the one that gets the most things right at the same time. 10 restaurants, 5 pools, including an infinity pool facing the ocean that becomes the resort's social hub at sunset, and swim-up suites with direct water access from the terrace. A casino, in-house production shows, and the Boulevard, an open-air promenade with bars, shops, and entertainment that keeps the resort alive long after sunset. The Bávaro beach features fine quartz sand and calm water year-round, and the airport is less than 20-minute drive away. There's currently an active offer of up to 30% off on unique suites when booked by May 31st, 2026. And there's one detail that in the coming months could completely transform what this resort offers. The Lopesan Group has 3 sister properties opening in the same corridor. If cross-resort access is confirmed, as already happens with other groups on this list, today's number 1 could become the all-inclusive with the most options in all of Punta Cana. When you weigh everything together, it's the logical number 1. Which of these resorts would you want to stay at? Or which one would you recommend that didn't make this list? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to know. And if you're craving more Caribbean, the next video takes you to the new hidden gem of the Dominican Caribbean, via eBay. I'll see you there.